Today, we're going to dig into a really fascinating paradox in global health. It's a story about tuberculosis in Nepal, and it's all about how free healthcare can sometimes come with an absolutely devastating hidden cost. So let's get right into it. We're on the hunt for the hidden cost of TB, and it all kicks off with one simple but really important question. Okay, think about this. In Nepal, the government provides treatment for tuberculosis completely free of charge. Sounds great, right? And yet, for so many families, getting a TB diagnosis is the first step into a financial nightmare. So, how is that even possible? If the treatment's free, where are all these crippling costs coming from? Now, before we solve this mystery, you've got to understand just how high the stakes are. TB is still one of the top 10 killers worldwide. And get this, 97% of cases are in low and middle income countries. So figuring this out isn't just an academic exercise. It has real life or death consequences for millions of people. The key to cracking this whole thing, well, it turns out it's not just about what we measure, but how we measure it. The answer lies in a tale of two very different surveys. On one side, you have what's called a cross-sectional survey. The easiest way to think about this is like a single photo from a crime scene. It's one interview at one specific moment. It's fast. But then on the other side, you have the longitudinal survey. This is the complete security camera footage. It's multiple interviews that follow a patient through their entire treatment journey. And as you can probably guess, what you see in a single photo can be worlds away from what you see in the full video. And here's where it gets really interesting. When researchers in Nepal used both of these methods on the exact same group of patients, the difference between that snapshot and the full footage was, well, it was staggering. Let's take a look at the evidence. First up, the snapshot, that standard single interview survey. It estimated that the median total cost for a patient to get through their entire TB treatment was about $91. Now, you have to remember, this is in the country where for a lot of people, that is a huge amount of money. But hold on. When they looked at the full story, the complete security footage, they found a much higher median cost, almost $120. That's a 30% jump. This chart just lays it out perfectly. That big gap between the bars, that taller bar represents real costs, real financial pain that was completely missed by the simpler survey. It just goes to show you the way you measure a problem literally changes the size of the problem. So the question is, where is all this extra cost coming from? And this brings us right back to our central mystery. If the medicine itself is free, what on earth are people paying for? Well, the answer turns out to be the biggest hidden cost of all. This is the real story right here. Direct medical costs are only 7% of the burden, a tiny little slice. Things like food and transportation, that's another 4%. The absolutely crushing weight, the thing that's breaking families, nearly 90% of the total cost is from lost income. It's the wages people can't earn because they are simply too sick to work. The free treatment is costing them their livelihoods. But the full story survey revealed something else. The snapshot method doesn't just miss the money, it misses the deeper human impact of the disease. For instance, when you ask someone in that single interview, about 36% of patients reported not having enough food. But when you follow them over time, that number jumps to almost 55%. And it makes sense, right? The longer the illness drags on, the harder and harder it gets to feed your family. This study also looked at another devastating impact, something called social exclusion. This is that profound experience of being shut out from your own community, from social life, often because of the stigma of the disease or just being too unwell to participate. And here again, the full footage revealed a much, much grimmer reality. The longitudinal survey uncovered 1.5 times more social exclusion than the simple snapshot. It shows that TB doesn't just attack the body, it attacks a person's place in the world. And a single photo just can't capture that slow, creeping isolation. So what's the verdict here? What do we do with all this information? Well, the study provides a really clear path forward for designing policies that can actually truly help people. So what's the game plan? Well, first, the gold standard is the full story approach, the longitudinal survey. It gives us the most accurate picture, period. But we have to face reality. These surveys are expensive and require a lot of resources, which is a huge barrier for many countries. So the researchers offer a smart compromise. If you have to use the simpler snapshot method, timing is everything. The best time to do that interview is a few months into treatment, which gives you the most accurate single estimate you can get. And all of this brings us to the ultimate takeaway. The World Health Organization has a goal of totally eliminating catastrophic costs for TB patients by 2035. What this research shows with crystal clarity is that to have any hope of reaching that goal, we first have to get much, much better at seeing the problem for what it really is. It's a powerful reminder that in the fight for global health, having the right data isn't just about data. It's the difference between a policy that actually works and one that leaves the most vulnerable people behind.